Now I would like to invite Anish Verma from USA. Mr. Anish Verma has over 21 years of experience in management, consulting, and operation. As a client partner responsible for driving client value, being a thought leader and a strategic advisor to clients. He started off his career as a process engineer at Tata Motors and worked on the Indica car project for 3 years. After that, he came to US to pursue his MBA and after graduation joined IBM's Global Business Service Group. He worked for IBM for 14 years, primarily advising clients in automotive and manufacturing sector. As an associative partner, he was responsible for business development and delivery. He then joined Capgemini as an executive director and managed multiple automotive accounts as an account executive. Most recently, Mr. Verma co-founded an artificial intelligence startup called Mintmesh, and his responsibilities include global sales and marketing. Mr. Anish Verma.
All right, looks like we are on, Sunil. So let's get started, okay?
All right.
All right. Thank you. Let me start off with thanking Ms. Rachna Dubey for inviting us, for this international, conference to present about this very interesting topic. I would also like to thank Ms. Annapurna Dikshit for coordinating with us and being patient with me in updating all the information and providing this video. Unfortunately, given the timing of when this conference is going to happen in India, we are in the US. Sunil and I are in the US, so we won't be able to attend live. But I hope you find this session informative. We will do our best to cover the topic, which is challenges and opportunities for micro, small, and medium enterprises. We have about 15 minutes, so we'll try to stick to that. And before we get started, I wanted to introduce my co-host Sunil Chadavidal a little bit, and I'll introduce myself so that you understand where we are coming from and our context, and then we will get into the topic. So with that, Sunil, please go ahead.
Hello, folks. It's a pleasure, coming on this call and this webinar. I wish we could, be there in person, but this is a topic that is really near and dear to me. I know micro and small and medium enterprises, because a lot of my friends are in this business. I've had several micro enterprises myself. But I did, my background is 20 plus years, sales and marketing, enterprise architecture, and with large Fortune 500 companies. And today I am the CEO of Mintmesh, in an artificial intelligence platform. And with me is Anish, of course. Anish, you want to talk about you?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Sunil. Quick introduction. I've known Miss Rachna for a very, very long time. We are neighbors in Pune, and we have known each other for a long time. But to quickly introduce myself, I've been, both Sunil and I have been in the US since 1999. It has been a long time. And we both worked and grew up in Maharashtra. I've worked for Tata Motors in India a long time ago. And since then, I've worked for companies like IBM and Capgemini over the last 18 and a half years. And I am the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer of Mintmesh and a co-founder with Sunil and Ajay, who is not with us today, but he is our co-founder based out of Bangalore. So we are a small startup from that perspective, and we have been in existence for about 4 years. And we run our operations out of Detroit here in Michigan, in the US, and out of Bangalore. So let me start it off with the introduction around challenges that currently the small and medium businesses are facing, not just in the US or in India, but around the world. And given that Sunil and I talk to investors and clients almost on a daily basis, we have a pretty strong understanding of what's going on, and we would like to convey that here. And I think some of you would relate to it, or at least understand and acknowledge it. So this current pandemic, unprecedented, a situation that came right out of left field. No one was prepared for it, but it has made a permanent shift in the marketplace, as far as we can see, and we the way we look at it. It has presented challenges and opportunities both, based on who you are and how you look at the situation. But the entire business world, the entire corporate world, and even communities are changing the way they think. And I would like to cover a few of the challenges, right? We have not seen this kind of a challenge since the early 19th century, when it happened during the Great Depression time. From an India perspective, this is long, long ago, even before we are an independent country. Several million people have lost their jobs, their livelihoods, and they are not even certain if they will ever be able to go back to the same job pool, because entire businesses, entire industries are going to be affected or have been shut down because of this pandemic. They have been termed irrelevant by the time we are beyond this COVID situation, right? And if you think about certain sectors, like aviation, real estate, hospitality, education, they have changed, right? They have seen, a drastic dip in their revenue, and even after COVID is over, it will take time for people to get readjusted and feel comfortable about their overall well-being before they can start feeling comfortable leveraging services provided by these sectors, right? People will have to fly, but how will planes be flying in the future? Will they be completely full, like they have been in the past, or they will leave one seat in between, right? Something to think about. Now, that means that planes will be flying at half capacity. Hotels, the entire hospitality industry has been impacted. Real estate, right? Companies and businesses have realized that they can work from home. Their employees can be efficient from home. In some cases, you still have to go to the office, or to the factory, or to the plants to get the work done. But it has definitely made businesses rethink, do they really need to have these big, expensive office space to host their employees? Education, right? All of our children now are studying from home. Teachers are teaching on Zoom and other online platforms like Google, Microsoft. Will students go back to school? I'm sure for the elementary up to 12th grade they will, but what about colleges? What about universities? You guys are a university. I'm sure you guys are thinking about this hard and fast, of how you're going to bring back the students into your four walls. So definitely a huge challenges around there, right? We have observed that a lot of companies are preserving cash. This is not only true with the companies, but also true with individual investors or syndicate investors, investment companies who are trying to preserve on cash and not investing that money into the market, because they are just not sure how this whole thing is going to turn out. So something that is very adversely impacting these micro, small, and medium businesses, especially startup like ours, where we are not seeing the inflow of money from investment, and that is how startups survive. We are not seeing new clients signing up, and some of the existing clients are kind of shying away from continuing contracts or are pulling back. So it has made the small business community rethink on how they're going to conserve cash, right? They're obviously furloughing employees, they are laying off employees, which again has a very negative impact on the community. But businesses have to survive and find ways. Sunil and I, and Ajay, we decided that we'll not let anyone go. On the contrary, we are hiring people, and Sunil will explain why we are doing that, right? But these are some of the macroeconomic challenges, but there are other challenges that I don't think people talk a lot about, and I want to touch on that, right? Being in a lockdown, being in the confines of your home or the four walls, unfortunately, has also led to an increase in domestic violence, domestic abuse, and as a result, increase in depression. Um, unfortunately, the younger generation will get impacted, and we will see the results of that impact that 5, 10, 15 years down the line of how their psyche and their psychology has been impacted. But I think those are the key challenges that the businesses are facing. And with that, I'll hand it over to Sunil to talk about the opportunities and take it from there.
Oh, thank you, Anish. And well, when you describe the challenges, I could, or we all could see a lot of opportunities right there in those challenges, right? And in fact, this I cannot even tell you how important it is to look at the other side of it, the opportunity of it. I know all of us are suffering. It's a lot of adversity, but look at the opportunity it has presented itself. It is what it has basically done in one false sweep is actually reset the whole ground for everybody, be it the large industries. I mean, I know a lot of people in large industries. My neighbor works at General Motors, and I know General Motors was not making a single car last month. And you know what they were doing? They were making ventilators. So think about it, right? All the large, small, every type of industry has come to the same level. So here is presented an opportunity, right? And a lot of new businesses like health. Telehealth is one huge opportunity, and the reason for that is now I know hospitals are not making money because people are not going in for care that they would otherwise have had, like surgeries, some elective surgeries or something, knee replacement, for example. But they are now looking at different ways of maximizing revenue. Reaching out using telehealth, a doctor can cover many more patients at the same time. They can reach places that they have never been to, right? They don't have to be within the geographical vicinity itself. So there are a lot of opportunities there. Education, another huge opportunity, right? and and in education itself, you'll see that with the advent of online education, there are new ideas that you can bring to the fore. uh, I mean, already people have been using a lot of online stuff, but think about it. You can bring in things, which can change the way, you people access education. Poor people can access education, right? They don't need to, spend hours coming to a physical place, sit in a classroom. You can reach them. Only thing is, you have to be able to provide them the facilities, right? Maybe they need internet, maybe they need computers, but that's something that you have to work with the government to provide, or private sector. But you, as students who are coming out of college and into the world, can become entrepreneurs, can bring new ideas to make this happen. And the advantage here is for the medium and micro and small scale is that they can ramp up really fast. Think about it. If a large company has to make a change, it is not immediate, right? An Ambani or a Tata will take a while to ramp up things and come to the forefront. But you, as a micro or as a small scale entrepreneur, can immediately ramp up. Your cost bases are low. You have a great idea, and the sky is the limit in terms of resources available nowadays, right? You name it. If you want to make content, you can actually go onto the web and have so many tools. You can make your own content and be on YouTube, start making money the next day, right? So the pandemic has created a situation where everybody is rethinking their business model, and you have an opportunity to be the first out there. You just have to think like that. You have to think outside the box here, right? And so, like, working from home, study from home, all these are opportunities that present themselves. There are ideas that you can bring there and quickly make it into a product or a service, right? So the other one, and that's something that we don't see so often, is uh, in Delhi. I was hearing, or in Bombay actually, with this cyclone Nisarga and the whole COVID thing. It has been the cleanest air in years, I believe, right? In Delhi, it has been the cleanest air in years. Why? People are not outside. Factories are not spewing smoke, and we are being our carbon footprint is reducing automatically. So we want to have this healthy lifestyle. We want to have this a place where we can enjoy nature without being bothered about breathing in poisonous air. So again, as a medium, small scale and micro entrepreneur, you have an opportunity to bring new products here, new ideas here, and how to further ensure that carbon footprint doesn't go back to its normal thing, right? And again, families, in a good example of families, they're rethinking how and what they are buying, right? Maybe there are products still out there that people are looking for, conveniences at home. You know, I was just, in the US here, it's very hard to find sanitizing wipes for the last 2 months. Impossible, right? Because the companies like Clorox and others, they're not able to ramp it up in time. Like that's a problem there, right? But masks, which was a problem in the beginning, suddenly every house had a sewing machine making cloth masks. People sent out information online in YouTube on how to make masks, and everybody is making it, right? So the mask shortage went away. Similarly, what I want to say here is that you have an opportunity here. There are lots of open white spaces, and which are really suited for the micro, and the small scale manufacturer, or service provider. So that's those are the opportunities I wanted to talk about here. There are many more, given the lack of, if we could talk for hours on this topic, but I want to just jump into the next one. And uh, Anish, you want to talk about what we are doing at this Mintmesh?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this kind of piggybacks on the opportunities that you just covered, Sunil, because we at Mintmesh, as an artificial intelligence startup, which is a cloud-based software company, we see this as a big opportunity. We see this COVID situation, which is very unfortunate, but we see this as pretty much like a reset button for the entire business community, right? We know that this has caused a permanent shift in the way people are going to work. We already covered the remote work aspect of it, right? There are both opportunities and challenges there, and businesses will have to adjust. But working remotely will become mainstream. It will not be a perk anymore that companies will have to give to their employees. It will be a very common occurrence, and companies will actually encourage people to work from home to improve employee retention. Productivity tools will be higher in demand, and we'll cover that a little bit later too. But post COVID, companies will have to focus on improving productivity of their companies. People will not be investing too much in new revenue generating items or opportunities because they want to conserve cash. They still don't know how the world, their consumer world, is going to react. So they are going to try to reduce their bottom line on the cost side to become more and more profitable, right? Carbon footprint has definitely taken a swing for the positive. And companies, because they will be reducing their real estate footprint, and the travel footprint, people will not be driving to work or using public transportation to work as much, can now claim carbon footprint credits like Tesla provides to other companies like GM, Ford, and Chrysler. So the carbon footprint reduction will be a big positive thing that will come out of this as well. But that is how we see the world changing, and that is how we are taking advantage of this situation as well. Sunil, you want to cover revenue?
I can certainly, and like everywhere else, right? Revenue is king. In your business, as you go forth and trying to put together small, medium businesses that could potentially at some point be worth more than $1 billion in value to you and to your shareholders. Revenue is king, and this has been the time that reminds us the most about it, that revenue is king, right? When you have, so what we have seen in the challenges is that there are the MSME businesses are struggling to survive, right? This was sudden. Shutdowns were not even planned. It just came in, and one fine day everything shut down. People were at home, businesses stopped buying, and clients that were paying you, they stopped paying. I mean, they were trying to conserve cash as well. And we saw some of our fellow startups actually go to some of these, right? They were they were getting investments from companies that owned real estate, commercial real estate. And when this thing hit, the commercial real estate, they own hotels that, and hotel business went from whatever 80% occupancy to zero. And so wanted to hold cash, and so they stopped paying what they promised to pay. And so these kinds of things happen everywhere. And in this was more apparent here in when COVID hit us, right? So So in this situation, it is again an opportunity. If we know how to conserve our cash, right? And that, I think, as Indians, I'm sure jugaad is in our blood, right? Smart innovation, we call it. We have to make it happen. We'll make it happen, I know. And so if we conserve cash and get through this, we're already ahead of the game. We're already ahead of the other competition, right? Because they are struggling. The larger the company, like take Uber or Lyft or others, they're large companies. They're really suffering because they had they had thousands of managers. They had, so much of assets. They have to, pay all of them and they have to take care of them. But as a small and medium business, you don't have that many overheads. And so if you can conserve cash, make it happen, get through this, you're already ahead of the game. Your idea is, already in the progress of making money for you. So if in this time, and like we did at Mintmesh, of course, we are trying to, we're doing what we are preaching, is that put a lot of attention on product development. And of course, there are no customers to sell to, and nobody's buying, nobody's paying. At this time, conserve your cash, put all your energies into, developing your ideas further, make it such that, and you're fine tuning it to the new environment. And then when the market opens, you already are ready with your product, right? And some of the products that we are making itself, we fine tuned it. We had to change the track a little bit to make it, for the new era, the post-COVID era. So people say, right, it is BC and AC, right, before COVID and after COVID. So we are focused on the after COVID era.
Yeah.
That Anish, I know we talked about revenue a lot. There's another angle to it, the cost angle. Why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, and I think after that we're pretty much coming to the end, and we'll try to wrap it up right after. But cost containment, like we said, is going to be key. All businesses will focus on productivity improvements. They will try to achieve more with lesser resources, which means people will have to be more efficient, more results oriented. And that will lead to an emphasis on providing capabilities that allow employees to work remotely, and to be more efficient with remote work, right? You might have seen a lot of funny Zoom recordings on LinkedIn or Facebook where, there are family walking behind, or, children coming into the room when the dad or the mom is having a conference call, or how people forget to put their recordings on mute, and go about doing their other business but in the house. But these are all things that are going to happen more and more, which is the funnier side of this. But there will be a lot of emphasis on remote work, which is good, because it'll ensure that our carbon footprint is taken care of. So I think you have seen from our tone and from our passion that we are seeing this entire thing more as an opportunity than as a bigger challenge, and that is our perspective. I hope others can see it the same way, because how you see the world is what you get in return as well. So we believe from a IT perspective, companies will invest in cloud-based solutions, to get tools and technologies to make their employees, to make their workforce more results oriented and productive, right? And so the question at the end is, how do you look at this, right? Whether you look at it as a challenge or whether you look at it as an opportunity, whatever you look at it as, is what will come back to you in return. And I will leave you with this quote by Napoleon Hill, one of my favorite authors, who wrote a book, Think and Grow Rich, way back in 1937. And if companies can see this as an opportunity, if they can see this as a reset button, they will come out better on the other side of this COVID. They would have transformed themselves. They would have had become more nimble, and they would be able to provide more value and more products and services to their clients. So hang in there like we are. If everybody can hang in there, and this is soon going to get over, we will see the sunny side once again, and life will hopefully come back to a new normal that we'll all get used to. So I think with that, we are pretty much done, team. I hope you saw some value and some benefit from this discussion. If there are any questions, of course, we can't take it right now on the call. But if Ms. Dubey or Ms. Dixit have any, Dr. Dixit have any questions for us, we would love to answer them later or during or after the conference. Feel free to reach out to us through email. And thank you very much again for having us. It was a pleasure for us to share this. And with that, we will sign off. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a great conference. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Despite the difference in IST and PST, Mr. Anish Verma has accepted our invitation and put all the efforts to make the making video for all of us. So once again, thank you Anish Verma and his team for this wonderful presentation.